Hey y'all, from Spindle Mountain Mercantile. I am Heather.
And I am Lynda, but you can call me Mama. Welcome to our YouTube channel.
Project number 1.
Lost Garden transfer from IOD has captured my heart in some ways, and I don't even know why. Y'all, I didn't care for this transfer when it came out. And then I used it on one thing, and I was a gone girl. Mama found this little pail at the thrift store. I think you can buy these in bulk at wedding shops, and you can also find them at Kia. Not not Kia, IKEA. I mean, you could buy something metal at Kia, but it would cost a lot more money. IKEA, usually you have to put things together and you don't have to put a car together. Wouldn't that be cool though? If IKEA sold cars. Okay, so what are we doing? Oh, I'm using White Swan from Debi's Design Diary. This is Debi's DIY paint. It does need a sealer because it's clay-based and it's water soluble. So I put 2 coats of that on, and now I'm using Debi's Carnival Red, and the top went on so easily. I just went around the outside, and then I carefully went in on the bottom, and the bottom part of that little, thing around the top, the trim, it's not connected on the bottom, so it was super easy not to get any of the red on there, and then I went back on the top and just kinda held my brush over it and went all the way around, and that was so easy. So, then we got to the bottom, and I'm all feeling pretty good about my prowessness at getting red paint in a little tiny area with white paint. So I did this part, no problem. Oh, well, nope, got some on my hand and smushed it. And then I went on the top and I was like, oh, forget it. Yeah, I could not do that. So I cleaned up the red with my white paintbrush and I just went back with a red marker and that worked very well. I let everything dry and I picked out one of the standalone images from Lost Garden. There's 2 pages of standalone images. Maybe there's 3. There's at least 2. And I went over the whole entire thing really well with my transfer stick before I went back and started, pulling back the paper. And by the way, see my fingernail polish is coming off? That's because I used the same marker to do fingernail polish one day last week, and I just put, some polish over the top. I know, you know what? I don't get out enough to get my nails done, and I went to buy some nail polish at Dollar General, and they had, like, 1 pink, and all the rest were, like, black and orange or green and red and blue, and it's like the 8 colors in the very first Crayola box they ever made, that's the colors they have now, and they're like $5 each, and I'm not going to other stores. There's stores out there, no way, I'm not gonna spend that much, and anyway, so that's why my nails look like this, but hey, I did stop biting them. I gave it a coat of Rust-Oleum Ultra Cover in clear gloss, and we were done.
Project number 2.
After seeing our cover picture and watching project number 1, you probably figured out we're going with the theme. Lost Garden is going on everything today. This is a light fixture that I don't know how old it is. I decided not to paint it because I love the patina on the outside and I didn't know if I could get paint to stick on the inside. Look at all those little pieces of aluminum showing right through there. I washed it with a magic eraser and then I handed it over to Mama.
Well, you can't see what I'm doing here.
Y'all, I am so proud of her for saying that. She said that and figured that out when I wasn't even in the room. We're getting better at this YouTube thing.
Well, I don't know how to do it without putting my hand there.
I love that on there. I mean, it looks like it's antique, you know? And I believe these pictures are from a book, an artist who put stuff in books between 1760s and 1780s. Crazy.
They had books that long ago.
They did. Well, I believe Gutenberg was alive before then, weren't he? I reckon.
That will not go on, Heather. Or is it?
It's going on. Here, let me. I think you have to rub and pull at the same time with this one. So
I don't know if I can do that.
Well, let me
without
hold.
my arm in the way.
I'm telling you, Mama's picking up on becoming a big YouTuber. She's even concerned about making sure you can see what she's doing without her hands being in the way.
I keep telling Heather my left hand is just there for balance.
I thought it was there for looks.
Well, that's part of looks, balance.
Sometimes your right hand feels the same way.
My right hand feels the same way, but this is not my thing.
I finish it for you if you want me to, Mama.
Yes, this is.
Did you tell them where we got this?
Every time Heather comes to visit me, I live in a big condo complex. She goes dumpster diving and always finds something. She found this in there. I can't imagine what somebody there would have had this for.
I don't either, because I mean, it's not like the condo unit was built that long ago where they have these kinds of shades. It's going on pretty easily, actually. It's just a weird angle.
I think if I could hold it a different way, I could.
Well, here, try it now. I'll hold this down. Did you see what I was doing? I was really lifting this. Lift it away while you rub. Like, really lift it away. There you go. That's good. That's good. It wasn't so much that it's the angle of the thing. It's the angle of the thing and the angle of the camera and trying to do this so y'all can see it. At home, it won't be so difficult for y'all if you do something like this. I promise. You don't have to worry about other people making sure they can see what you're doing. You just have to see what you're doing. I finished that last bit for Mama, and she burnished the whole piece using the carrier sheet. She's getting ready to go home, but before she left, she gave me very specific directions about how she wants the placement of the rest of the floral.
Now, I think the other one of these should go on the exact opposite. And then the little things that are on the page with them, put these in between.
Okay.
And then there will be spaces. But maybe you have enough of this and this and this and this and this and this. But I started it, but you had to finish it.
All right. That looks like it came that way in the 30s or something.
Yeah, pretty.
You think that's from the 30s?
If I look that old, I'm from the 30s.
Okay, 40s. So after she left, I put this on directly across. Well, I thought it was, you know what? I think it was a little off. I didn't realize that until I was putting the other ones on, and it seemed like I had more space to work with one side than I did the other. But it all worked out, and it's one of those things that nobody's going to be that up close on it where they're like, look at those gaps on one side and not the other side. That's just not going to happen. I started this by doing it the same way I would do any other transfer. I put it on where I wanted it, and then I used the transfer stick to go over it. And now I'm just trying to get it started on one side, and I'm using my fingernails quite a bit. I like to use my fingernails because where sometimes, and on this it did happen on one side. It didn't happen on the other side, but some of the green paint started lifting, and it would just show a big chunk of aluminum, which in the end I liked. I thought that added to it and again made it look old. And right here on this side, as I'm lifting it, I discovered that if I just had the very slightest angle when I'm lifting it, instead of lifting it completely up as I'm rubbing where it pulls away from the lamp or the shade, if I just keep that slight angle and move with it and keep making it that same angle as I move down, it worked better than lifting it straight up. And I think actually right here is where I started catching on to that. So I instead of moving my hand closer to the part where it's lifting, I kept my hand further back and lifted it ever so slightly, and I just tried to keep that slight angle, and I did that for the rest of the entire piece. I'll speed parts of it up so you can watch the whole thing, but you won't have to see it, you know, take the half an hour or so that it took me. It took a half an hour for the whole thing, not just that part. After I burnished it, I saw all of the pieces of green that lifted off. It didn't do any of that on the other side. I don't know. Maybe it was where this lamp was sitting in the sunlight for years that made that happen. But for whatever reason, I'm okay with it. In between the big pieces on each side, I'm putting 3 repeating patterns. So if I had thought about this beforehand, I probably would have done the 2 outside ones right side up and the middle one face down or upside down, and then done the opposite on the other side, but I didn't realize that, and I just kinda laid them down. Again, nobody's gonna look up close and say, "Why didn't she put these this way or that way?" But if your brain, has a pattern making thing going on in there, like a lot of us do, you might want to check and make sure if you're okay with the repeating pattern, just keep repeating across. And if you're not okay with that, just flip every other one upside down and it works. I put the middle pieces down first and then I added the outside the other 2 pieces, and I did that on both sides, and I'll speed this up again so you can watch me do that. Since this is probably going to be used someplace where it will get a lot of dust on it and will need to be cleaned often, I am sealing the entire thing, both the places with the transfer and without, and that way when it's cleaned it will have the same sheen. I'm using Debi's liquid patina in crystal clear chandelier, and the reason I'm using it instead of Big Top is because Debi Beard herself recommended it for another project, and I thought it would be good for this. I wish I would have thought to do the interior, because as soon as I got done with this, I was holding it upside down and I thought, oh my goodness, a fern, even a fern that isn't that beautiful of a fern like mine, would look gorgeous in this. And I want to know if y'all agree with me.
Project number 3.
As I've told you in the past, Wednesday is senior day. Old ladies' day, as Heather calls it. It's roses. My sister and I usually go in there because we browse. We always find something we could use. It's like a small version of Walmart. It's a little Walmart.
It's like Walmart on clearance.
Right. I found these paddles. They make wonderful servers when you're having a party or just to hang on your wall and cut your bread on it. whatever you want to do with it. It's pretty.
I don't know if I like that Mama calls it a paddle. Yikes. So she took this cutting board home and gave it 2 coats of DIY cottage color in vintage mint. She let the first coat dry before she added the second coat.
I've seen where I want the flowers to go on this paddle, and I turned it over so I can draw it out. I'll be cutting into the transfer, but I'll make it prettier, make it fit the way I want it to. So I'm just going to cut on those lines and we'll see what happens. I don't like cutting it this way because I turn it over and I say, oh, look what cut off. But this will fit on the board. So look at that. It's perfect. Perfect. You know what?
I like that.
I'm going to leave it just like it is.
I like it. That'll be good for the people who don't think they can do all that.
I hope this will be enough for 2 weeks, what we're doing, because every time I come down here, I have to go by the swimming pool to get out. I want a suntan before I go to Hawaii.
When you going to Hawaii? September, October?
September.
You know what I think? Mama prefers to apply her transfers by rubbing just a little bit and then pulling back the plastic and seeing how much she got. And then she lays it back down and does the parts that maybe she missed. And for me, it's faster to pull the carrier sheet back and rub where it's pulling away from my project so I can kind of see it all at once. But also, my hands are not almost 89 years old. So I think that that's a big part of it. And I kind of figure, you know what? Good on Mama for figuring out how to do something that she loves and for showing other people that you don't have to do things exactly as the directions tell you to do them if you can't. Find a way to do what makes you have joy in your own heart. I love that on that mint. I didn't know I'd like it that much, but I do. I like it that much.
Heather, how is it that this transfer goes on so easy on top of this? And sometimes you really have to work hard to get it off the backing.
It's because it's cottage colors. It's Debi's Design Diary Cottage Colors is a collaboration with Jamie Ray Vintage. Jamie Ray Vintage is another YouTuber. Jamie Ray and her husband Zeb have a shop in Utah and they have a YouTube channel, but their specialty is going to Goodwill and taking us with them and then coming home and fixing everything to sell it. But it's because it's got the primer and the sealer and the paint all in one. And it just...
Well, it's a joy to do it.
Yeah, they did a good job. Mama keeps bugging me to teach her how to do crackle. She took some home with her, but I'm not sure if she was working on something else or if she was just a little afraid to try it while she was alone. So she brought it back and here we go. She is applying Pent Art Classic Crackle. Now, this is the first coat.
Put it on pretty thick and wipe up any drips. That's what the boss tells me to do. Put it on as quick as you can without making a mess. And I am finished. Okay, I'm putting the second coat of crackle on it. And I'll be going home soon. But Heather will clean up the sides where I dripped paint. And tomorrow we'll see the crackle. Waited till the first coat was dry. Did I get it all?
Let me brush that out so I don't know if it matters, but...
You can already see it getting still for a little firm. I can't wait to see it tomorrow.
I can see some of the crackle already starting. There's a bubble.
Now, this board is beautiful, exactly the way it is. But I did tell Heather I want to learn how to crackle. And she assures me that if I do what she says, it's going to be more beautiful. So let's see if she knows what she's talking about. Do I put a heavy coat?
I would put a heavy coat and I would do the whole thing all at once and then wipe it off all at once.
Now, the longer, Heather says, the longer you let it sit, the cracklier it'll be. But we kind of want to keep this like a pastel, so I can see it crackling now.
All right. Now you just start wiping it.
Do I wipe it hard or?
Yeah, you wipe it pretty good. You're gonna mush that down into the cracks and clean off the white part. Aren't you glad I gave you something to protect your shirt?
Yes. Ooh, look at that.
And I'll just keep rubbing and get it as green as you want it to be. See, the more you're rubbing here, it's a lighter green. Rub it real hard. Rub it back and forth. There you go. And then switch your cloth around to get clean parts. What do you think?
Now, I think it still maintains its nice pastel look with some crackling. I like it.
You do?
Really?
Do. Okay, good. After we sanded the sides with 220 grit sandpaper, we added a little bit of dark and decrepit there and wiped it off to make it look kind of outlined. And before I show you the after pictures, y'all, you got to see this crackle. Mama did such a good job. You can see why she likes it, right? It's just beautiful. Really good job, Mama. Project number 4. Remember that awesome dumpster dive I did at the auction last year? I found all kinds of stuff, and from what I can gather, from great-grandma forward, all the women in this family loved horses, and I found these gaiters. I do not think these are vintage. I think they are closer to antique. One of them was really, really rough, and this one's only kind of like rough adjacent. So I had an idea to turn these into vases. We're going to use Lost Garden again, and watch this. I barely pulled it. Leather just broke right off. So from then on, I knew I had to be a lot more careful with that leather strap. So now I'm just trying to see how open I can get it. And I probably could have oiled this and gotten it in a little bit better shape, but I don't need to. And like I've told you before, I don't like to waste time and I don't like to waste money. So I'm doing the least that I have to do to make an item not just sellable, but durable and lasting. It's if it's something that won't last or that needs help, I will spend time and money on it. But I didn't have to with this. So here we go. I'm cutting out a little bit of the leftover pieces at the top because I want this to like look full at the bottom, and as it moves up, get more spread out, but I don't want it to look scattered. So I just cut off a little bit of random pieces at the top. Now I'm starting at the very bottom, and sorry you can't see that on the screen real good, but I, all I did was use my transfer stick to rub all the way up and down the center because that's going to be where your eye goes first on this, and I want it to look the best. As I work around this, because it's so hard and uneven and just it's going to have wrinkles, or it's going to have places in the transfer where it tears. And to avoid that as much as possible, you start in the middle or at the picture you want to be highlighted, or the part you want to not have the wrinkles and tears the most. You start there and work your way out from there. So I just sped this up, and that way you can watch the whole entire process of how I went about it. Okay, I got the bulk of the pattern I wanted to be in the best condition possible. And when I got to the side, as it curves on the bottom, it has a different curve at the top. So you can see this piece is totally out of whack. I mean, there is no rhyme or reason to it. I bet you it's off an inch. So I decided to reattach it to attach it to where it would have been on the top piece. And wherever the bottom piece lands, it's going to be random. So I'm going to cut another piece of a branch, or I think it's a rose vine. I don't know, whatever that little piece of wood is, the stem. I'm going to attach another piece right there to connect the whole thing. And it was easy to find. There's pieces of that everywhere because this is basically vines. I just used my fingernails and I went back over and added a little bit more here and there, and we're going to continue on with the fast forward. One of the cool things about Lost Garden is you can cut out little pieces and use them on smaller items, or you can do one great big piece. So the pages fit together, and you can see down on that bottom right-hand corner where the pink flowers are, that's a continuation of the next page. So I just added that there, and I didn't cut it. I just let where I rubbed up to, that was where it came off. Now I am putting it over just a regular water glass that I have in my kitchen, and I'm trying to find the exact size I want it. I told you the top is wider, so it kind of fans out because that's where it goes over the calf. So down where the ankle part is, now I have to figure out where I'm going to put that strap. And once I figured that out, I just used copious amounts. I mean, like big, huge globs of my glue gun. I squeezed that thing so hard to get that glue down in there. And then I pressed on it and held it there for enough time that I knew it wouldn't pop up. And there was this little part here where the leather pieces were separating. And then I took a piece of fabric and I wrapped it around the ankle part, which is the tightest part. And I just tied it in a knot, and I left that for a good 15 or 20 minutes until I was sure it was completely dry. And by the way, I really smushed that together with my hands. Wherever the leather, I had to glue it together. I really put a lot of pressure so that glue would go up into the leather. And here I'm just fixing another little crack. And now we're going to fix the strap. For that, I used some of my drop cloth, and it's a piece I had frayed. And now I have to unfray it. I'm unafraying it. Don't be afraid. Be unafraid. Anyway, so I'm using this. I forget what they call that. I could go ask my sweet husband, but he's doing our taxes and I don't want to bug him right now. What's it called when you use one piece to put two pieces together? Well, anyway, whatever that's called, that's what I'm doing. And again, I really pressed that hard so the glue would go right up in there. And my glue gun isn't super hot, so I can use my bare fingers for that. If you have a hot glue gun, make sure to protect your fingers with that. I'm just pulling off the little pieces of leftover fraying and making sure you can't see it from the outside. And I made sure that it fit. Then I pulled that back out carefully so I wouldn't tear it again. And I used my scissors to poke a hole through the drop cloth, and it would be much better to use an awl, not an owl. An owl would just peck it and nothing would happen. I used an awl. I mean, I should have used an awl. I used scissors. Oh, good grief. The words that come out of my brain. It's not what they were when they were inside my brain. It's just how they come out. So I got that on and I tried to hide where it was torn as much as possible under the latch, but you can still kind of see it. And I am just adding a little bit more hot glue and putting some more pressure and holding it there until that is stuck. And I glued down part of the strap right there to make sure that it didn't, if something pops out, or, it wouldn't tear again. I just wanted to have as much secure attachment as I could have all over, because who knows what's going to happen. All right. I am using liquid patina crystal clear chandelier to give this a really good coat because it's going to have, lots of water around it. I did not do the strap though, and I don't think water will hurt it. It has a really cool patina and it's just going to add to it. I don't know if I'm keeping this or not, but if I do decide to sell it, I will also seal the inside because it will for sure get wet. Now, if you make something like this, don't expect perfection. It wasn't difficult, but it was time consuming. So sit down and watch a good movie while you do it and don't expect perfection. You might see those mistakes, but I'm telling you, when someone else sees this, they never will. Project number 5. I met this real sweet gal from the town we live next to who had an antique store she closed down decades ago. Everything sat in storage until recently when she had an auction. Unfortunately, the storage building was damaged and a lot of moisture got in. A lot of things didn't get wet, but the moisture didn't do them good. She gave me a bunch of those items, including these books. Now, they don't have mildew on them, so that was really good. And right there, can you see that? That's an impression of Charles Dickens. This is part of a complete collection of his works. And I probably got 20 of these. I think I'm only missing maybe 5. Believe it or not, there are collectors that still want these, even with all of this damage. And all of them have different amounts of damage on the bindings. I found one that had no leather on it whatsoever, and the binding is all wood. So I'm going to zhuzh this up, and I am not going to glue anything down that would make it so you can't open it, because there's nothing wrong with the pages. They're still very easily read. So we're attaching, of course, some of my Lost Garden pieces and bits that are left over. And it actually went on really good. I must be touching my camera because I hope you guys don't get vertigo or whatever you get when, oh, so dizzy. Sorry about that. I guess I'm bumping the camera when I move this. I don't even realize I'm doing that. It's probably because I'm watching police chases while I'm doing this. I should maybe pay more attention to my work. There was a piece cut when I had used this for something else, the part that's gone. And it was too much of an abrupt edge. So I am adding this little piece to it that will make it look like it, more natural. There's really not much to adding the transfers of this book. So again, I'm going to speed things up, and that way you can see most of the entire project. I did cut out the bits of film where I had to pause so I could find a new police chase or body cam to watch. So I'm just tying these. They are tied in knots. You can easily untie them. I didn't do it that snug. So if you want to read the book, it's not going to be an issue. I used a bunch of random ribbons that I had. I think Mama got them in a grab bag at at Hobby Lobby. Sometimes they'll have leftover ribbon in grab bags in the back, and it's actually a pretty good deal. This is a piece of lace. The first one is a piece of velvet, by the way, that I got on Amazon. I'll try to remember a link for that. It's like 3 feet each of 24 colors, and it's really good to have around. I sped this part up too so you could see my whole thinking process as I went tying together and untying and retying and how many bows I wanted. And this is really just up to you, whatever you like. If you want it plain, just leave a couple of pieces hanging down. And if you don't make some bows. I frayed the edges of these pieces that were hanging down, and that's all I did. And this old book that was going to be thrown away is now a beautiful decor piece that can still be read.
Project number 6.
That's why I never
Okay.
put them on
I made this on my own. It's a tin can, small one, and I pounded the bottom of it together, and I made holes in the side, and then I covered it with this I think it's jeans fabric. It's heavier than just plain cotton, and I had seen Heather put transfers on drop cloth, so I thought I'd try it. So I found this cute little rose pattern, and it went on just as easy as it could be. I mean, I couldn't believe how easy it was to do. And so I brought it to Heather, and she wants me to try a bigger can. So we're going to cut the bottom out of it because it will just be too hard to compress, unlike this little one.
I used my Pampered Chef can opener because it's one of those safety ones where it like pops the lid off. It doesn't cut the lid off. So no one will get cut in the taking off of this lid or bottom, whatever. Next, I took it outside and put it on the cement porch and gave it a bunch of good whacks on the end with a big old hammer.
Last time I did it with heavy fabric that was khaki colored. And we have a pair of jeans here, and I thought, why not try just the regular jeans? I think this leg. What do you think, Heather?
I think it's great. I mean, just cut the back and fold it over, and then what do you do at the bottom? Fold it up?
Fold it up.
So Mama turned it inside out and put it back on the can, and then she put a couple of pins right along the outside of where it needs to be sewn. And she wants me to do that with her mama's sewing machine. So she handed it off to me, and that's what I did. I sewed it up. Now I'm cutting off the excess fabric that's on the outside of that stitch, which is really hard to see. I just did a straight stitch. Mama put it back on the can and it fit just perfect, like a glove. Thank you very much. And she folded the bottom under and she's going to glue the front to the back. So she doesn't have to glue each piece to itself. Just that one big seam right across that bottom part is where she's going to put the glue. Now, after she put the glue on, she pushed pretty hard with her fingers so that the glue will get mushed up inside the fabric. And that just makes it hold better and longer.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
Painful.
You know what, though? I like it because it's not so hot. I can't touch stuff after I put glue on it. Putting a big old blister on my finger. That is so cute.
I think it's perfect.
Mama picked out an image from Lost Garden that stands alone. So there's 2 pages, I think, where it's, well, I think I already showed you that in the light shade. So never mind. You already know. Sorry. Sometimes I just talk because words gotta go somewhere, right? More room outside than there is on the inside. Maybe that's just for passing gas. I don't know. That's what Mama says. So blame her if I got it wrong. Mama did a pretty good job with pulling back the carrier sheet with this one as she went. I think it's because of the way the can is curved, it was easier for her to rest her hand up there as she worked. It is super easy to apply transfers to fabric. So if you haven't done it yet, what are you waiting for? It is such a satisfying thing. And there's so many different fabrics out there you can use and give something a completely different look.
It probably would have been easier to do this on the pocket before you attach it to the can, but you can see that even this way it's working. But if I do another one, which I hope I will soon, I'm gonna do the pocket. I mean the jeans before I glue it to the can. And I'm gonna have to turn this over to Heather and let her finish the edge.
Well, I think it's going to be just about as easy as the rest of it because, these transfers want to pop up and stay, the carrier sheet, the plastic part with
Yep.
the grid wants to stay straight. So it kind of helps you by lifting it. I think you could do this, Mama. Look at that. As my mom always says, look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
I'm looking at it.
Mama burnished it with her fingers and it was ready for the next step. Before she left, Mama picked out the flowers that she wanted to be in it, and I went ahead and arranged those for her. By the time I figured out I didn't have my camera on, I was almost done. I usually don't put this many flowers in my arrangements. However, when I've been using AI just to make my cover pictures, I realized that they were adding flowers. In fact, they added so many flowers to some things I had to tell them to stop. But it did cause me to think maybe I could add a little more flowers here and there. So I started doing it, and I'm really pleased with how these turned out. All I did to make a hanger was I added a ribbon and I glued it in the one Mama made before. We put holes in it, but we couldn't find anything to poke a hole through this can after we were done, and it worked out really good. It's not very heavy, so just gluing that ribbon on either side was all it took. This thing was really inexpensive to make, so I think it'll be a great thing to have in our booth. We can put a lower price on it, so maybe some customer who doesn't have a great big budget can afford something beautiful to put in their home. And I hope that you like it as much as we do. So, before I ask you if you had a favorite, I want to know, were you surprised to get a Tuesday evening video from me and Mama? How cool is that? We had so many projects, and I had already put some of them in the editing tool, so I was able to make 2 videos for this week. We really hope you enjoyed this. Don't expect it a lot, though, because it's not easy. In fact, it is 5:21 right now, and I want to get this out by 6 o'clock, and Mama already called to see if I would play bridge with her online, so I don't have time to go back and make sure I did all the editing correctly. So if I made mistakes and I said things twice or I skipped over something, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I know my regular viewers will because they love me, and I hope the new viewers will like that so much that we're honest and show our mistakes, that you will become subscribers and join in on the fun. We have a great group here, and we hope you will become one of the subscribers. So as far as favorites, I'm sorry. I know it's a cop-out. Well, it sounds like a cop-out, but it's not. I just like them all. That's the honest to goodness truth. I like them all. This transfer is amazing, and it looks good on old and new things alike. I got to go play bridge with Mama now, so I'm just going to sign off. Until you see us again next time, which is Friday, we hope you have a wonderful week. And as always, we hope you are blessed. Bye.